Alright, number 21. I know that your instinct is going to be to look at this and say, oh, I can just plug that in the calculator. You absolutely can. But its purpose is to help you practice the properties of exponents so that you can answer the other questions, the ones that look more difficult, that are much harder to put in your calculator. It's helpful for you to be able to do these things here. Okay, so like on the first one, 32. That is a perfect, so 2 to what power is 32? 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. So that's 2 to the 5th is 32. So I'm going to replace that, 2 to the 5th under a square root. Well, how can I write that in exponential form? 2 to the 5th times 1/2, which is 2 to the 5 halves. Imagine that. So these are equal. All right, let's look at the next one, 8 to the 4 thirds. So practicing different techniques, different things, different properties of exponents and rational exponents. So this exponent here, 4 thirds, is the cube root, represents the cube root of 8 being raised to the 4th power. Okay, what's the cube root of 8? It's 2 to the 4th power. So is 2 to the 4th power the same as 2 times the cube root of 2? And you're like, I don't know. Well, let's rewrite this one as in exponential form. So that's a 2 times 2 to the 1/3, or a 2 to the 1st times 2 to the 1/3. If we add those exponents, we get 2 to the 4 thirds. And I don't think 2 to the 4th and 2 to the 4 thirds are the same. All right, on the next one, I have 2 to the 8th. That's big power right there. So let's check this one over here out first. Let's see, what should we do? I'm going to convert that 16 the same way I did down here. So I know 2 to the 5th is 32. That means that 2 to the 4th is 16. Okay. Another thing you do is 16 to the 4 thirds if you want. So 16 is being raised to the 4 thirds. So what is 16? 16 is just 2 to the 4th, and it's being raised to the 4 thirds. So we multiply those, power to a power, and we get 16 over 3, which is not 8. So those are not equivalent. Okay. Another thing you could do here, you can split that into a perfect cube. So 8 times 2, because 8 is a perfect cube. And so that is 2 cube root of 2 being raised to the 4th power. Or 2 to the 4th times, what's 2 as a fractional exponent? 1/3. Okay. Why is that 2 at the beginning not in parentheses anymore? Because I already raised it to the power. I've already kind of distributed that exponent like you do when you multiply. So that's 2 to the 4th times 2 to the 4 thirds, which is again going to get us 16 thirds as our power, which is still not 8. I wanted to show you another way to do it. All right, next one, 3 to the 5/4 and 3/4 root of 3. So I'm going to convert this one to an exponent and just see what happens. Put it in exponential form. 3 to the 1st times 3, well, what's going on here? This 3 is to a power, the power is 1, and then the root, the 4th root, is a 1/4 power. And let's add those up. So 1, if you have one pizza and you divide it into fourths, how many fourths do you have? 4 over 4 times 3 to the 1 over 4. We add those exponents up because the bases are being multiplied, and we get 5 over 4. Those things are equal. Okay, last one here. So there's some decision making going on here. what went into my decision-making process on this last one is that 16 isn't a perfect cube. So I know that I can't really just take it out easily, but 8, if I put that here, so 8 under a cube root squared is going to give me, 8 comes out as the cube root of 8 is 2, and it's still squared, so that's equal to 4. Okay, so is the cube root of 16 to the 4th power also 4? Certainly doesn't look like that, like it's going to be. Cube root of 8 times 2, all that being raised to the 4th. So that would be, the cube root of 8 is 2 times the cube root of 2 to the 4th. Oh wait, the 2 is being raised to the 4th also. 2 came out, still being raised to the 4th, cube root of 2. Okay, so 2 to the 4th, we already talked about, that's 16. It's going to be multiplied by the cube root of 2 to the 4th. So it's not going to end up being, let's go ahead and finish that out. 2 to the 4 thirds. And if we add those exponents up, that's 12 thirds plus 4 thirds, 16 thirds. Oh, it equals that other one. Well, I'll be, if I didn't just do all kinds of extra work. This is equal to this. And I just simplified it the same way. So thanks for watching. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Those are not equal. That'll do it.